going to discuss about the first part of human genetics, right? Now, if you love this channel, then if you love this video, then make sure that you subscribe to our channel to gear up your knowledge every day with me, right? At sharp at 12 p.m. every day. So every day we are going to read about NCERT biology of class 11 and 12. And while reading the NCERT, we wanna say you that all the NEET bombers which are very important for your NEET 2021, right? So if you are giving the exam, it is very sure that you want to know all about the NEET bomber questions from each and every chapter. Now I have started the human genetics chapter. So in this chapter, we are going to say you about the NEET bomber from each and every NCERT line. So just let's get started with this video, and I hope that you will love this total content of mine, and it will be almost a blackboard session video, and I'm watching all your comments down there. So if you're watching the session and if you have any doubts, then post it in the comment so that I can answer your comments. Okay, so just wait for a second. Well, so starting with genetics, we must know what is a gene first, right? Right. So we know that there are some characters which are transferred from one generation to another generation, and due to this transfer of the characters, only the father and the son looks somewhat or similar alike, right? The father and the son looks alike or similar traits are found in between the father and the son because there is transformation or transfer of some characters from first generation to the second generation, right? And this is all about genetics. Now, genetics is a very easy subject, but also it contains some numericals. And if you understand the topic clearly, you will be able to complete the numericals also. So, in this whole session, we are gonna learn about the genetics clearly so that it helps you in everyday life, and it also helps you to learn each and everything so vividly and clearly. So yes, first let's start with well. So in the category of human genetics, what do we find? We find that the study, or you may say the analysis of inheritance of the characters, which I already explained you how the characters are inherited in my previous live session. So inheritance of the characters in the human beings is known as human genetics. So what is human genetics actually? The study and the analysis of the inheritance of the characters in the human beings. Suppose the transmission of the characters from father to son, right? Okay. Now, father of human genetics. Who is the father of human genetics? Which is a very important NEET bomber question. Father of human genetics. Who is the father of human genetics? The father of human genetics is A. Gerard. You must know the name, right? Next, what is the main aim of human genetics? So the main aim of everything we read in this world has an aim with it, right? Has an aim linked to it. You are doing this live session because you all have an aim to pursue a career in NEET, or have a career in biology, or to know about human genetics. So the aim is improvement. An improvement in what? Improvement in human beings, right? Improvement in human beings. So remember very clearly that today in this session we are only reading about human genetics, not about others, right? So as we are reading about human genetics, so we'll just learn about what is eugenics. So have you ever heard about the word eugenics? Have you ever heard? So eugenics is study of two things. That is, eugenics can be positive or it can be negative, right? Positive in the sense that increasing the organism with better genetical characters. So increasing of organism with better genetical characters, right? And negative is decreasing of the organism with harmful characters, with harmful characters, right? So when we study about eugenics, we study about two main things. That is, one is increasing of the organism. So when we are doing sexual reproduction, right? When we are having sexual reproduction, we have got what? We have got lots of variations. We get lots of combinations, right? New combinations come up. New recombination, that is known as recombination, right? And we also get a lots of new characters. Now this new character, if selected by the nature, will be fittest for the organism to survive. So we will get a better organism with better genetical characters. But if this new character is not selected by the environment, then what we will do there? Then if it is not selected by the environment, then it will give erosion to the harmful characters or the harmful genes, right? And these harmful genes will let the human environment or the organisms or the humans to decrease. So that is only the negative eugenics, that is decreasing the harmful genes or decreasing organism with the harmful genes, right? Now, there are two study. One is a direct study, that is direct genetical study, right? Direct genetical study in eugenetic. And number two is your indirect method of study. Indirect, right? So, as a student, we don't go with the direct method of study, right? Because direct method of the studies are not possible in the humans. Due to why? Because we need a controlled genetical cross, which is not possible. We cannot say two humans, or we cannot force two humans to make a cross, right? Next is longer generation. For a longer generation, we need to make this cross. We can force two poultry birds, right? We can force two poultry birds to make a cross among these, right? We can make a cross among these. And again, when new generation is produced, we can force this new generation to cross or have a cross with the parental generation, right? So this is known as breeding. So breeding in the other animals, leaving the humans in the mammals or other animals is very very easy, and we can force them. But being a human, we cannot force a human to breed, and we cannot force a human of one filial generation to breed with this parental generation, right? So longer generation breeding is not possible, right? Next, we all have to wait for breeding. If we need to breed, then we have to wait for 18 to 20 years, because a maturity stage of breeding of human comes when they are 18 to 20 years of their age, right? Next, humans have a high level of heterozygosity. Humans have a high level of polygenic and the quantitative characters. It is not based that humans will have one type of gene. Every human and every organism is different in the species, that is in the species of Homo sapiens, right? But indirect method is very easy, because we can do indirect methods like very easy every day in your everyday student life. We do this indirect method, that is pedigree analysis, right? First thing, we start with pedigree analysis. Next thing is we do populational study, right? We do populational study. You can also write the note while I'm teaching you. Third thing we do as study of the twins, right? We do study of the twins. Now, next thing is we do that is karyotyping studies. We study about the karyotype, like in the Down syndrome, we always know that in the Down syndrome patient will have 47 XXY. This is the karyotype due to the dislocation of the chromosome number 21, right? So these are the factors which we can include in the study of the human genetics, right? But in your class, only pedigree analysis and population study is very important. Other you will learn in the higher classes. So we will discuss about the pedigree analysis and population study in details. So let's move. Yes. So now you're gonna learn about pedigree analysis. What is pedigree analysis? And how we can analyze a pedigree of a given family, right? So pedigree is actually a family tree. You may say, what is pedigree? Pedigree is actually a family tree. So when you were very small children, then you were given a task from or a project from your school that you have to make a family tree. So do you remember that you were writing your grandfather's name, and then your father's name, mother's name, and then again you are writing your uncle's name, then you were writing your name. So this was making a family tree. Similarly, pedigree is also a family tree, right? And in this family tree, actually, what do? We record the inheritance. What do? We record the inheritance. We keep a record of the inheritance of certain characters, right? Inheritance of certain genetical characters. Not only other characters, but only the genetical characters. I hope you can understand the abbreviated forms, and please do make the note. Or we can also keep the disorders. We also keep the records of disorders. Not only characters, but also disorders, because characters are some which can be selected and cannot be selected. When these characters are selected, they get natural selection and we call it as a new character, a new gene. But when they don't get selected, we call it as a disorder, right? Or more than two generations. We can create this for one generation, right? We can create this for two generations, or we can create this for more than two generations, right, bacha? So we can create this for more than two generations. In a family, we can create this family in which it is represented by some specific symbol. So first point we have already studied that what do we do in a pedigree? We record the inheritance of such characters, right? It is what is actually a pedigree? Pedigree is actually a family tree, and we can combine the characters of one generation, two generation, more than two generations, like this. And also another important thing is that here some specific or specified symbols are used. Some specific symbols are used to represent and to denote, you may say, to represent and denote, right? Now, what are the specific symbols which is already provided in your NCERT book, right? Now, you need a mentor who will teach you how to analyze the pedigree, and this is very important because we cannot learn the pedigree by ourselves, and we need a mentor to analyze all the diseases, how it forms, how it is formed, right? Chalo. So, is this is normal, and this one is also normal, right? This one is also normal. This is normal male, and this is normal female. So how do we draw male? Like this, male, and this is female. Okay, So normal male and normal female. Now when this male will be affected, how we will draw this normal male when the male will be affected? We will draw a square box and we will cut this box. So this will be depicting the affected male. Okay, this will be depicting the affected male, and this will be depicting the affected female, right? Affected female or a diseased male. You may say diseased. One who is not at ease, then that person is in disease, right? Here also disease. Affected means disease. Next, if it is hetero, right? If it is hetero, then we will write like this, combining two genes, then that is hetero. And if it is hetero for the female, then like this, half circle will be shaded. It will be hetero for female. So we know that this is, the square is male and the circle is female. The square is male and the circle is female, right? And some more symbols are there. So yes, note it down. Some more symbols are there, like if it is a carrier female, this one is a carrier female. Why? Because the female has two X chromosome, and when one X chromosome is affected, one X chromosome of the female is affected, then the female is not a diseased one, but the female is carrier. The female is a carrier. So only one X chromosome will be affected. Suppose XHX, that is, it is carrying the H, that gene that is encoding for which disease? You know that is hemophilia, right? Okay. Now, if there occurs a death between the male and the female, right? If it is dead, then this cross sign with like this. So this is male, this is female, and this both will denote death. Okay. If there is some female or a super male, super female, you know, right? So when there will be super male or super female, then this will be the thing. That is, sex is unspecified. We don't know about the sex. Whether it is a male or whether it is a female, we don't know. So we are in confusion. So when we are in confusion, so that will be your sex is unspecified. Next, if we write like this, then it will be 5 unaffected children. 5 unaffected children. If there's a line and there's like this, then it is abortion on stillbirth, right? Abortion in stillbirth. Now we will study about some twins characters. Let's see, right? When there will be two brothers like this, when there will two brothers formed from a single zygote, right? Single zygote, two brothers. When there were two sisters, right? Two brothers, two sisters. So this will be known as monozygotic twins. This will be known as monozygotic twins. When they will be like this, the two separate zygotes, they are twins, but they are separate from each other. When they will be connected, they will be monozygotic, right? When they will be connected, they will be monozygotic. And when they will be separated, they will separate, then these are the dizygotic. We can also see this phenomenon, right? Here we will get two sisters, here two brothers, right? Here one sister, one brother. So what is this called? This total is known as the dizygotic. This is dizygotic twins. Okay. Okay. Now, when there will be marriage between the couple, when there will be, one second. So, when there will be marriage between the couple, then like this, will draw a line in between them, a connecting line. So, this is known as the connecting line. As our hearts connect during our marriages, so this is a connecting line. This is the female and this is the male, right? So, this condition is considered as a marriage. Now, when there will be two connecting lines, because brother and sisters are very, very connected, you know, every time they are the two mischiefs doing, they always do the mischiefs and all. So, these brothers and sisters, this will be known as the sibling. Sorry, these are not brothers and sisters, these are the consanguineous method. That means that when there is marriage between the brother and the sister from the same family, then it is known as consanguineous marriage. Okay. That is marriage in the close relative. When marriage will be in the close relative, it will be known as consanguineous marriage. Okay, अपने family में ही. Next, we will talk about now, and if we talk about sibling, okay, if we talk about sibling, so siblings are drawn like this: one, one, one. After this, sister, then brother, then sister, one brother, then again brother. So this is known as the sibling. As I'm writing down, you also write it so that you get all the things, right? This, and if there is a situation that father and mother is present, right? So then we write one. So one means this is the first parental generation. One means this is the first parental generation. Okay, this is the parental generation. And if we write two, then this is the sibling or the offspring generation. This is the offspring generation. So what we will have in the offspring generation? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these are 5 brothers and sisters, right? Next, when we study about inheritance, right? Now we will clearly learn about inheritance. This is very, very important. So please pay your attention in the slide only. Okay. This is very important. This is very, very, very much important. Till now, we all studied about inheritance, right? Now, what is inheritance? Inheritance means transfer of the characters from one generation to the next generation. Now, in this inheritance, it can be many types. Inheritance can be of several types. 3 main, I am telling you. Well, so first and foremost type can be your autosomal inheritance. Autosomal. I'll come and explain what is it, but let us first read about the types. Autosomal, sex-linked and cytoplasmic. Okay, so these are 3 inheritances. Autosomal is equally transferred into female and male. So what you actually get, that is how many autosomes are there. The characters which you get from your body or the somatic cells, right? So somatic cells, you get some characters from your somatic cells. That type of inheritance is known as autosomal inheritance. Sex-linked inheritance is of 2 type, right? Again of 2 type. So this I'm coming with this. One second. Okay. One is X-linked and another is Y-linked. Okay. So what we study? The first one is X-linked. Second one is Y-linked sex inheritance. Because there are 2 type of different sex chromosomes in, that is X and Y. Right? Though female only possesses the X chromosome but not Y chromosome. This Y chromosome only shows the crisscross inheritance. Crisscross. And the Y-linked chromosome shows the Hollandric genes. Hollandric genes. Okay. Now, what is this crisscross inheritance? The crisscross inheritance is that there will be transmission of the characters from the grandfather to his daughter, who will be your mother, okay, and mother to the son. So who is the carrier? There will be indirect transmission. There will be indirect transmission, right? Grandfather has, suppose, this gene, this one. Daughter or your mother will carry this gene. Okay, your mother is the carrier of this blue colored gene, and the son will have it. The son of the mother will have it, but not the daughters. Okay, not the daughters. Daughters will not have it. Only the son will have it. So this is known as crisscross, that when the characters from your grandfather or your nanu is being transformed from your nanu to you, then that will be known as the X-linked crisscross inheritance. Okay, so your grandfather has some character and your grandfather is giving that characters or transferring that character through your mom to the grandson, that is you. Clear? So this is known as crisscross inheritance. It is not a direct transmission, it is an indirect transmission because your mother is playing the role of the carrier. Clear? Now what is Y-linked or now this crisscross inheritance can be of two types. Okay. It can be dominant. It can be dominant, right? Or it can be recessive. It can be recessive because genes are totally dominant. So if your grandfather has color blindness, suppose your grandfather is having color blindness, right? Now your grandfather is having color blindness because color blindness is a X-linked inherited trait. So that's why I'm telling you about the color blindness only. Now, if your grandfather has color blindness, what will your mom do? Do your mom will have color blindness? No. Your mom will carry that color blindness gene because your mom has two X chromosome and the grandfather has only one X chromosome which is affected with color blindness, which is XCY. Now your mother will get one X chromosome from your grandfather and another X chromosome from your grandmother. Now another X chromosome from your grandmother is unaffected, right? But the X chromosome of your grandfather is affected, so your mother will have the combination of XCX, right? If your mother has the combination of XCX, then your mother will transform this X chromosome. If your mother transforms this X chromosome to you, then you will also have one X chromosome and you will have the same disease as your grandfather, which is known as color blindness, right? But in case your mother transforms the another X chromosome, that is leaving the XC chromosome, if your mother transforms you the another X chromosome, then you will be a normal male and you will not have that color blindness disease, right? So genes can be affected. So if this color blindness affects you, then it will be dominant. If the color blindness does not affect you, then it will be recessive gene. So that's why the crisscross or the X-linked gene inheritance also can be dominant or recessive. Is it clear, guys? Now, we are heading for the next thing, that is the Y-linked or the Hollandric genes. Now, what are the Hollandric genes? Hollandric genes are such genes which are only transformed from male to male. Okay, only transformed from male to male, because you cannot transform the Hollandric genes to the other category because the female does not contain the Y chromosome. If the female is not containing the Y chromosome, then how we will transfer the characters to the female? So male to male, that is, if your father is having any disease or in any effect is there in the Y chromosome of your father, then it will be transformed from your father to you. So these are known as the Hollandric genes. Due to Hollandric genes, what the male gains? The male gains extra hairs, and that is on the pinna of the ear. We get extra hairs. So these are some effects which we get in the from the Hollandric genes. Right. Next is cytoplasmic inheritance. So from the cytoplasm also, in the cell cytoplasm also, some characters, this sex-linked inheritance and autosomal inheritance. Autosomal is totally body related to your somatic body. Sex-linked inheritance is related to your sex chromosome or the sex genes which are present inside the nucleus, right? But after outside the nucleus, there is something where the nucleus is actually present, or the soil of the gel or the matrix where the nucleus is actually present. That is the cytoplasmic matrix, right? And before in the growth stage, in the early embryo stage or early in the early fertilization stage, when the fertilization is done, after fertilization, in the post fertilization period, what you are actually a cytoplasmic body which is present in the mother's womb. Our mother contains a cytoplasmic body, and that cytoplasmic body gradually grows into that cytoplasmic body gradually actually grows into a embryo. Okay, full-fledged embryo, which in turn grows into the zygote. But before growing into the embryo, it was actually a cytoplasmic body, right? Now this cytoplasmic body contains some genes. Your mother's cytoplasm contains some genes, your mother's cells contain some genes. Now when your mother is transferring some of the her character from the cytoplasm of her gene to your cytoplasm, then this is known as cytoplasmic inheritance, or else another name of cytoplasmic inheritance is maternal inheritance. That is, your mother can also transform some of her gene to the cytoplasm, to your cytoplasm, to the growing embryo cytoplasm, right? And that is known as maternal inheritance. Clear, students? Now, clearly we will come with the autosomal inheritance. Autosomal inheritance can also be two types. One is dominant inheritance, okay? One is dominant inheritance and one is recessive inheritance. Okay, so there are two type of inheritance. So usually they do not skip the genes. Both normal parent can never be affect the child. Both affected parent can never have a normal child. Okay. So if there are both normal parent, they will never have unaffected child. There will no affected child, right? As you are. If your parents are normal totally and disease free, then you will never have an affected child. But if both the parents are affected, if both the parents are affected parents, then they cannot have a normal child. The child will somehow carry the autosomal characters of the parent, right? Have you understood? The child will somehow carry the autosomal dominant inheritance characters of the parents, either of the father, either of the mother. If one is affected, you can never have an unaffected child. If you are affected, then your child will also be affected. Clear? Now we'll study about recessive inheritance. What is actually recessive inheritance, right? Recessive inheritance is both normal parent can have affected child. If there is both normal parents, sometimes we see there are both normal parents but the child is affected, right? Child is somewhat having the mental retardation, etc., but the parents are normal, and both affected parent can have a normal child, okay, can have, and this is can never. This is can never. This is also can never. Because this autosomal gene is totally dominant. So if the parents are normal, then it will show its dominant power to the child also, and the child can never be affected. And if the parents are affected, it will also show the dominant power to the child also, and the child will never be normal, right? In the recessive inheritance, both the child will have, if the both parents are normal also, there are chances that it can be affected child, because because that is the normal category, or the normal power of the parents is not dominant, it is recessive. Both of the parents will be recessive, carrying the normal autosomal inheritance gene, right? And here also both the affected parents will be recessive. That's why the child can be normal by chance. Clear? Okay, now we'll move to next topic, that is how we get autosomal, as we are reading about pedigree, so we'll also get back to pedigree, and we will learn that how we get autosomal dominant pedigree, how we get autosomal recessive pedigree, which is very very important, because um, uh, in your NCERT it is written that these are your autosomal recessive gene, these are your autosomal dominant gene, but students fail to understand that actually what is autosomal recessive and actually what is autosomal dominant, right? So we today in this video or in this live session will clear about our doubt that what is actually autosomal recessive and what is actually autosomal dominant. So I hope you have taken the note of this session. Let's move to the next slide. Yes, and yes, if you love this session, never forget to subscribe to our channel Anamika's EduSpace, and it is an amazing channel, and every day we post videos, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at @Anamika's EduSpace. Okay, so pedigree. Now we'll learn about the pedigree analysis, which is very very 3-star important topic, because it is not so important for your NEET examination, but yes, you must know, because अगर pedigree आ गया तो कैसे आंसर करोगे, right? चलो, तो autosomal dominant में पढ़ते पहले autosomal dominant. So actually, what is autosomal dominant? So when what I told you, the circle is female and the square is male. Now if I draw like this, then what you get, that this is a normal female and this is an affected male. Very good, bacha, very good. If you're answering in the comment section, it's very good. Jaldi se answer kare and make the session much more interactive. Yes. Now when they will have a child, right? What we are studying about the trait, that is autosomal. And in autosomal dominant, what we study that if both parents are normal, so you just have to write yes or no in the chat section. Okay. So so as I got the answer, the correct answer that will be yes, right? Because the parent is affected. So if parent is affected, the child will also be affected. Clear? Now, if the child is affected, then we'll get a female, then here we get a male, again we get a female, okay, and here's a male. So there will be chances of affection according to the presence of the gene or combination of the characters, right? Here one female is affected, one again female will be affected, and one male will be affected. Okay. So male is carrying X and Y chromosome and the male is affected, right? If the male is carrying, suppose, hemophilia, then male is affected. So if the male is affected, male can transfer this X chromosome if there are 4 possible offspring, that is 1 daughter, that is 2 daughters, right? 2 daughters and 2 sons. What we get here? We get 2 daughters and 2 sons. You can clearly see this is daughter number 1, D1L, right? This is daughter number 2, right? This is son number 1. I hope you understand. This is son number 1. This is son number 2. Okay. Now, so how many offsprings we get? 4 offsprings are there, right? 4 offsprings are there. I will show you a cross also. If XX crosses with XHY, right? Then what we will get the combination? First combination will be XHX, this one. Next combination will be XHX, this one. Next will be, when it will be a male, it will combine with your, this one will combine with Y. Okay. So XY and XH, and again we'll get XY. Okay. So again, let me see X. One second. So yes, X is combining with XH once, then X is combining with XY normal, then this X is combining with we'll do again. It has become very hazy. Yes. Now I'll do again. So XX and is combining with XHY. So we'll get first XHX, right? Then we will again get XHX. Then we'll get XY and XY, and this X will combine with Y. But there's some different. Okay, so let's learn about from the pedigree only. So here are two daughters, D1 and D2, and S1 and S2, that is two offsprings, or the two sons are there. Okay. Now what we will learn, that the sons or the daughter will be affected. As the sons and daughters are affected, this is the affected male, this is the affected daughter, and this is another affected daughter. Now, if this daughter marries a normal or a common man, then they will also have a like this pedigree. That is, if the daughters are produced, then one will be affected, one or the other will be affected, because here also we found the affected parent. Here we also found the affected parent, that is totally dominant, because we are studying about the only dominant phase. So this parent is also dominant, right? Next also, if this daughter marries an affected male, if this daughter marries an affected male, then also we'll get a combination of one affected child, may it be daughter or may it be son. So we'll get a one affected child, and this is another son, right? So this was all about autosomal dominant trait. Now if we study about autosomal recessive, okay, let me take another color and I'll show you. If we studied about autosomal recessive trait, okay, so if we studied about autosomal recessive trait, and we have studied about autosomal dominant, now we'll study about autosomal recessive. So in autosomal recessive, what I say, that if both the parents are normal, right, then they can have, it is a possibility that they can have a affected child. They can have a affected child. They will have normal child, but they can have affected child. This is also a problem, or a probability, right? And if both the parents are affected, right, they can have normal child. There are chances of having a normal child. Okay. Now let us see the pedigree. So here is the female and is the male. If the male is affected, right? If the male is affected, we can get normal child. See, we can get normal child. the male is affected. Okay. So these are the offspring that we are getting, 4 offspring. Again, we are getting what? Okay, there's no marriage. I'll not show the marriage now. But here we are getting 4 offspring, right? And among the 4 offspring, there are chances that this is a normal child, this is a normal female child, right? This is an affected, this is an affected child, this is an affected child, and this is again a normal female child. So if both the parents are normal, or both the parents are normal, they can have an affected child. If both the parents are affected, they can have the normal child. But here only one parent is affected, so only the males are affected, right? Next. If there is a marriage, now if there's a marriage, that is the normal female is affected by the is the normal female is marrying a person, non-affected person, then this will be the phenomenon. That is both are normal. Here you can see both are normal, right? But this female was carrying the gene. The female was carrying the gene from the father, right? Female was carrying this gene. Now the female can have a child that is affected, and here also we can have a marriage. If we have a marriage here, then these are affected, but as it is autosomal recessive, so there can be normal child also. There can be normal child also. Clear? So this is all about the autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive trait. And I hope this video session was quite clear to you all. Like this only, we will also learn about population genetics tomorrow. But before going to population genetics, I have already told you about autosomal and recessive. Now we'll learn about the sex-linked dominant trait or recessive trait, right? So we know that females always have a, right? So females always have double X, whereas male always have one X chromosome, right? One X in males. Now when male will have one X, then any gene or any recessive gene will be, if any recessive gene or any gene, if it is dominant to the male, suppose of hemophilia, if it is dominant to the male, then it will be expressed in the next generation. It will be expressed in the next generation. But if it is recessive, then this will be a carrier. Then this will be a carrier, and we will get the carrier female. Okay. So let's learn about a pedigree here. Let's learn about a pedigree here. Well, so we get a pedigree. Suppose there is a marriage between a male and female and male, that is affected. Male is affected. Okay. So female is carrying what type of gene? X small a gene. Okay. And X capital AY, because only X chromosome is there, and the female is the carrier and the male is affected. Okay. Now, yes, this is the phenomenon where you will get a female that is affected, right? Female is affected because female has got the dominant X chromosome. Okay, let me draw it first and then I'll make you understand. Here also we get four. Here also we get 4 offsprings. Now female will get only one X chromosome from the father, right? Now if father is having this X chromosome, then the female will be affected, or the female will be the carrier, because female is controlling only one, if it is dominant X chromosome, right? If it is dominant, if there will be two XX, then the female will be affected. Two capital XX, then the female will be affected. If the mother is also affected one, or if the mother is all affected one, but here the mother is normal one, right? But the father is affected. So a normal X small a chromosome is taken from the mother itself. This one is the mother chromosome, and this one is the chromosome from the father, right? Father is having the dominant X capital A chromosome, and that's why it is sex-linked dominant inheritance, right? And the female becomes the carrier female. Female becomes what? The female becomes the carrier female, right? Now, the father transforms this character, that is, now the mother is transforming a character to the son. The mother will transform the characters small x, this one to both of the sons. If mother is transforming the X character to both of the sons, then in the case of X-linked inheritance, we are talking about case of the X-linked inheritance. If the mother is having the disease, then the son will get the disease. If the father is having the disease, then the daughters will be carrier. If the mother is the carrier, then the sons will be affected. Sons will be affected. Okay, because only X chromosome, that is affected X chromosome, is contained by the mother, which is transformed to the sons. Then the sons will contain XY chromosome. The son will get this affected chromosome, and the son will be affected. Right now, if the mother is normal, the sons will be non-affected. The sons will be non-affected. Clear? But in case of father, when the father is diseased, if the father is diseased, the daughters will be the carrier. The daughters will be the carrier. Okay, the daughters will be carrier. If the father is normal, the daughters will be normal. But the daughters can never be diseased. If the father is diseased, the daughters can never be diseased. Why? Because daughter is getting another X chromosome from whom? Another X chromosome from the mother. So, for the daughter to be affected, if the daughter is affected, right? So, daughter to be affected, the father plus the mother both must be affected, right? Father and the mother both must be affected. And if both are affected, then the daughter will be affected. If both are affected, then the son will be affected. Okay. So if the mother is affected, then the son will be affected. Try to understand this line. But if the father is affected and diseased, then the daughters will be carrier. The daughter will not be affected by the father. The daughters will only carry the genes, and the daughter will transform the genes to the grandson. This carrier female will transform the genes to only the grandson, not to the granddaughters, only to the grandson. So if the grandfather is having a disease, right? If a grandfather is having a disease, your mother will be the carrier, right? And you will have the disease if it is X-linked dominant disease. If it is X-linked dominant disease, then you will be the carrier. Clear? So up till this only, this was this session. And yes, I hope that you enjoyed the session. If you enjoyed the session, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our awesome, amazing channel, that is ANAMIKA'S EDUSPACE. Every day we will do this live session, right? And don't forget that you have to study well and pursue good marks in your NEET examination. So up till NEET comes, every day we are going to have this live, and hope you love this session. If you love this session, make sure that you also share this session with your friends and relatives whom you know, and with your batchmates to join this session, and also help us grow. Every day will teach you NEET biology, and with this session you will also get helpful notes or helpful handwritten notes every day. So make sure that you answer and read NCRT beforehand, so that you can ask many questions if you come to this session. And also make sure that you follow and turn on the bell icon, because if you don't turn on the bell icon, then you'll never get the update. To never miss the update, please do turn on the bell icon and subscribe to our amazing awesome channel, that is Anamika's EduSpace. So bye each and everyone. Take care. Goodbye.